Are you the glue that holds relationship in your life together? Maybe you don't have to be. Come sit with me. I have a story to tell. Hi, welcome to my channel. Real Talks, Deep Growth, a space for true stories and deep shifts. And today I'm continuing with the theme Sneakiest Ways Overperforming Burnout Showed Up in My Life. And today I'm discussing relationships. Let's dive in. So, first, let's define relationships: friendships, romantic relationships, work relationships, or family. And overperformance in relationship, that's kind of strange one, right? How can you overperform? As it turns out, in many ways, and you can really burn out from it, but it looks different than the burnout that we hear often about. So, the first most common one that now we started talking about is saying yes when you mean to say no. And that is an interesting one because it got a lot of traction and a lot of attention, and now it's more acceptable and encouraged to say no when you want to say no. But the thing is, for me, it was extremely hard. And even nowadays, I still sometimes struggle to say no. For me, saying no, it's not just a mindset shift or something I need to give myself permission in my head. It is something that was wired in me. Saying no can feel very threatening if your nervous system is wired in a mode to survive through people pleasing, for example. So you need to be really aware of it and practice it, even starting with very small things and with people that it feels safe to say no, because different people react differently when you start shifting your patterns and shifting your behaviors. So that one is a big one. But then equally, saying yes when you want to say yes. Two, for example, when someone offers you help, that's a tough one. To accept help or to ask for help, oh, that was super challenging for me. We are meant to accept help. We are meant to work together and live together. Not being able to even accept and receive the acknowledgement or accomplishment that I would reach. And yeah, and that's important in relationship, to be able to ask for help and to be able to receive it with gratitude and in a humble way. Relationship a two-way street. Otherwise, you just keep taking on and not asking. And then, of course, I feel exhausted, overextended, and burnout. So that's the second one. The third one is avoiding conflict at all costs. Conflict is uncomfortable. Obviously, nobody likes to have conflict, but conflict doesn't have to be loud and disrespectful. Conflict is a mere difference in opinion that technically in relationships you should be able to discuss and compromise and resolve. But that's key skill. And a lot of us didn't learn that skill, were not taught. So voicing any sort of disagreement felt really difficult. And then you just swallow your truth, you swallow your opinion, and then of course that erodes the relationship because there can be no true connection. My dog is having some dreams, so you might hear some background noise. I'm not sure what she's dreaming about. Where was I? Yes, true connection cannot be there with a person if you are not speaking your truth, if you are avoiding things that are uncomfortable for you. And then it snowballs anyway, and it accumulates into resentment. And then it's going to blow up anyway. And it's going to blow up not in a pretty way, because all of that accumulation is just going to shoot up like a volcano. I've learned to bring it up when it comes up and start maybe in small ways. That is how my system learned that expressing my opinion, even if it's different from others, is safe. The next one would be its big one. emotional management. I felt like I carried the responsibility for emotions of other people, for emotional temperature in the room. And I wasn't doing it like consciously calculated. It's just wired. Like, this is the important thing. If anything that you remember from this video is that it is wired in your body. It is wired in your brain. It is wired in your nervous system. It's not just a mindset shift. It's not just, oh, I learned this information cognitively, so now I will be able to apply it. When I would learn about it, I would have insight. I would have like epiphany, oh, this is my pattern. I recognize it. But then to shift out of that pattern, your body is so wired and so used to it. You just on autopilot. So it takes time. It takes time and you have to go gentle. You just have to give yourself a lot of grace when you want to step out of a certain pattern. Anyway, I got sidetracked. So I was talking about emotional management. And yes, I felt like I am the one responsible for everybody's emotion out of fear of disappointing others. So then a lot of my energy and my resources, the emotional and mental resource, unconsciously would go toward managing the temperature in the room. The relationship management was extremely heavy taxing on me. The relationships felt exhausting, just exhausting. And it's not because other people were so difficult. Sometimes they were, but the way I approached the relationships. When I realized it, that I am responsible only for myself, I started embodying that realization that I am my own manager. I'm responsible for myself and only myself. That was the key learning for me. Let's just sum it up. How it all showed up in the end is that the relationships didn't feel truly authentic because I wouldn't speak my truth. They felt exhausting and taxing because I wasn't able to ask for help or receive help. I was too busy worrying about the emotional regulation within the relationship and worrying about other people's needs ahead of mine and then neglecting my emotional, mental, or physical needs. Then resentment would grow. I think the main thing, how I shifted out of it, is I became clear on where the responsibilities lie inside of the relationship. For me, it was important to get clear on where I end and where the other person begins. So if I have one advice for someone who recognized themselves in this whole story that I just went on about, is start with yourself, but not in a toxic kind of way, but in a gentle way, in from the place of authenticity, honesty, love, and compassion toward yourself. Approach it from a place of giving grace to yourself, that you're just a human who was trying to get by and survive. And now you decided that you want to flourish. Thank you for listening. If any of this resonated, subscribe, stick around. I will be posting next video and the theme will be the motherhood and just day-to-day life, how the performance showed up there. And there will be another one about the wellness, health, and spirituality. So see you next time. Bye bye.